All right. Welcome back after the break. That was our Polar Bear Mike interview. Hope you guys enjoyed it. But now is on to the live portion. And like I said, we had a super special guest. So joining us for the rest of the show is Hinduman. Hinduman, how are you doing?
Yeah, not too bad. Thanks yourselves.
Doing really well. Really glad you could come in here and kind of save our asses. Everybody who's watching the show, we kind of had an issue where we had like this really big show planned. We had to customize our show just for it. We kind of cut some segments and everything, and then the person that we were kind of working around had to ditch the show for some other stuff, and so we were scrambling to get somebody on, and Hindu Man was there to answer the call.
Yeah.
All right, so I guess we're gonna start off where we always start off, which is in the news. So I guess the first thing is we have a new god. We have Cernanos. How do you pronounce
Oh
that?
God, don't start this again.
It's the pronunciation of these new gods always kill me.
I know, because casters is really difficult too. Kernanos. I believe is what it is.
Okay.
Kernanos. All right, there you go.
Yeah.
We learned.
There we go. So we got
Yeah.
Kernanos, who is Celtic hunter. Is it Celtic or something?
Oh, nice pick.
Yeah.
Thanks for the pick. I was
Right?
always thinking what picture you were going to use on the stream, and I'm like, okay, that wasn't so bad. It could have been worse.
I'm pretty proud of this one because I was searching. Like, initially I wanted to use the voice pack one, but I couldn't find one that was a right proportion or that had the not the little speaker next to it. So it's like, all right, I gotta find something else. So then I was looking at stuff on the Hi-Rez website, and I couldn't find anything. And then I found like some pictures of like you in the bow tie, like casting, and I was like, all right, well, kind of maybe. And then I found the Domination podcast. I was like, oh, I got this one. It's perfect. So I went to Photoshop and really threw that together. So I'm really proud about that. All right, so so we have a new Celtic hunter, and he looks really interesting. I know you kind of had your reactions already on the patch notes, but anything you got that you didn't already give on the patch notes for us? Like a little, what your thoughts are, maybe a little uncandid since it wasn't on air there.
Yeah, exactly. And the difference is uncandid, but this is my personal opinion, not Hi-Rez's opinion. I'm just going to state that now. Whatever I say on this episode is my personal feels, not Hi-Rez feels. If it is Hi-Rez feels, I'll tell you it's Hi-Rez feels, just as a heads up.
Okay.
But I think that one is really fucking strong. Like, I did not realize that did not cost mana. And when I did, I'm like, oh, geez, that's really good. Like, that's insanely good. I'm predicting that could possibly change in the future.
Yeah,
in my prediction, I expect them to kind of have to take looks at that going.
Yeah, and just the fact that like there's no cooldown on switching either. So I mean, at the SPL level to play, the pro play, if you can do it, we're looking at you having the ability to hit the winter chill, which is the slow, and then going into the autumn decay, which is the debuff, and then getting the summer heat for all the damage. And if you can really get that switch down, that's just a lot coming at you for no cost. And then if on top of that, his passive, if he gets into you within melee range, that's extra damage on top of that. And we'll see what like crit does with that, but this god could be really dumb and ridiculous.
I kind of expect to see it. I mean, I expect to see them go the route kind of like Ulyr's ultimate. Like back when like you could stance it, you could just switch back and forth. And then they just gave it a small cooldown, so like it just provides enough of a delay, which I think at the time was because there was a bug with it. But for something like this, it could kind of like stop you from being as efficient in a team fight.
I can see that. That's not a bad option either. I think definitely the issue is making it feel fluid and the ability to change it, because the more fluid it is, the more skill dependent it is. Now, one thing we're not factoring in here, I know it doesn't cost more, and that's my big gripe with it personally, is like it seems a bit cheap to be able to do this, but it does require you to land your auto attacks for these things to take effect. Like, that's the big key, is that, yes, you can throw an auto attack, change stance, throw another auto attack, change stance, throw another auto attack, change stance, throw another auto attack, change stance a final time back to the original one and throw another auto attack. But that requires you, for all those effects to take place, for you to hit all of those attacks in a row. Yeah. And if you mess up and you're trying to do a very fast rotation of applying all these things, that might not work out for you. So in probable realistic fashion, you're probably going to apply 2 of the same auto attack to a person before you switch stance.
Yeah, I think this god, for the past god releases especially, he has such a high skill floor. Like, you're gonna have to get good with him in a lot of ways to like really kind of get the most out of him. And then his ceiling is theoretically, I mean, really high. And obviously we don't know what all is gonna happen with him, like numbers getting really adjusted. How are they gonna handle like the cooldown with the 1 or the mana cost or anything like that? And then that Bramble Blast, as soon as I saw it, man, I thought, you know, does that have a cripple? That was my first thing because of all of the Erlang Shin. I was like, oh god, that's gonna have a cripple. That's gonna be the worst. And luckily it didn't. And then I thought it rooted a single target and then exploded, and then anybody caught in that would get rooted. And I was like, oh, that's also terrible. Like, this god is a guardian trapped in a hunter's body. But I don't know. Like, this god I'm really excited for. I'm more excited at the release of this god than I was in Kuzumbo, but I think I liked the ideas behind Kuzumbo a lot more with his whole anti-burst stuff. And this is more of a, I don't even know how to classify this god.
I'm excited to see like what Barracuda is gonna do, like specifically Barra, because I feel like he can fit that. Like, Zapman's super aggressive, right? I want to see like high level from Barracuda. What can he do with this god's kit?
I want to see him in the jungle.
I'm not gonna lie, I'm just excited about the first Gore Fury fight with him in competitive play, and then I can scream, "Squeal, piggy, squeal!" Like that's all I
the ultimate.
Like as the ultimate drops when we're watching him get slaughtered in hog form, I'm excited about screaming, "Squeal, piggy, squeal!" That's my thing. Like, that's all I think about is when they release this shit, how can I commentate this in a fun way? And that is definitely a very easy one when you've got balls getting hit.
What's the interaction? So say Artemis ultimates. And then
the
no.
Oh man, so
it does the boar get changed into a god? Like, it just turns into like a mini version of like Artemis? Oh no, or does it get turned into like ribs?
Now you've got me thinking about Bastet cats and like new Clay soldiers. Like, do they change too?
Oh god. I mean, the real
I was thinking more of I was thinking more of Tusky killing his own kind. That's kind of mean.
That's
like, that's what I thought. I wasn't thinking about the idea of what happened to Tusky if he was inside it.
Yeah,
that's crazy.
Tuskies eating Tuskies, man.
Yeah.
This boar on boar violence. We can't have this boar on boar violence.
Hang on, Chunga, does her bunny turn into a little baby boar too?
Oh my god,
that would be really
a little baby boar that just has imagine does Ratatoski get bigger or smaller? Does he stay the same height?
I think he gets. I actually think Rat gets bigger.
He would get bigger, right?
Right, I think so.
Otherwise, it'd be a mini boar. That'd be cool. And then there's a rat. You'd be like, I want to be a mini boar. So you get hit by it all the time on purpose.
Oh. Okay, so we just had someone in the chat ask, how will the polymorph ultimate work with CC diminishing returns? It ignores all diminishing returns, right? That's what I read.
That's correct.
Yeah, so the polymorph is set in stone. It doesn't get affected by any of those,
It's not DI'd by anything else.
Right.
Now, it is a silence and a disarm involved in that too, but it will last the entirety. You can beads out of it, though. The only thing you can do to get out of that is beads.
I just tried to think of like somebody like somehow getting rid of the disarm and the silence, but still in the boar form.
Why you do that, folks? And then Morrigan transforms into it the next minute, and then we've got two boars running around the map randomly. That'd be great. I'm down.
Oh god, I'm so. I mean, one of these instances hasn't been thought of. And then we're gonna get to PTS, and somebody's gonna break the game for a while, and we're gonna have some really funny screenshots. I feel like, I'm looking forward to that.
Well, I mean, think about two on the same, one on each team, right?
Yeah.
And then you've got 10 boars on the map all of a sudden.
Well, that's going to be what my casual games are next week when he's released.
And then you all, then you can play a mini game of, I don't know, like if you can get it constantly up as often as you can, like Infinite CDR or something, you can play a mini game of run away as a boars and hide as someone who chases you down.
Oh my god, boars on boars. Oh my god, the match of the day when he gets released is just going to be silly. Do you turn into like I would just love to like if you get bored and then all of a sudden he does another ult, you turn into like a smaller or a larger boar. Stacking those.
I'm just worried about like team communications because they're gonna be like, oh, go on the Nuwa, and then you're gonna ult the Nuwa. It's gonna turn into a boar, and you're gonna be like, wait, which one's the Where's the Nuwa at? Like, I don't know.
I didn't even think about that too. Like, how do they obviously keep the targeter, right? But then I guess like in the heat of the battle,
I'm guessing they keep their health bars and stuff, so you'll know
which nameplate's got to be on it.
Yeah, the nameplate will be there. But also, when that ultimate goes off, you kind of know their rough positioning. Although, if it were really smart, what you do is you get a big circle of 5 boars and run around in circles real quick, and then they're all really confused when you go, "Ha ha! I'm alive again!" And then it's somebody else in your face instead, like a hunter who 2-shots you. You know, you never know.
Yeah, that would suck.
All right, so that's the new god. I think we're all excited, slightly terrified of this new god. But Freight, since Hinduman here is like one of the big points of the patch notes, I think you have something to talk to him about.
What do I have to talk to him about?
You're
just your thoughts on the patch notes. You've been yelling them at us all day.
I just get upset about how long skins take. I always just like tune in at 4:00. I'm like, yeah, ready. Then I can go do something for like 30 minutes. Like, oh, skins for 30 minutes. Sweet.
I
mean, honestly, it's not as different as it's the same as when Bart ran it because he would just
It's
start
always
late.
the same. Yeah, it would just.
Now listen. As the average viewer, I feel you as well. I can completely understand that the skin section does feel like it takes a while, but take into account this is a free-to-play game, and the only way that we can keep providing business and keep doing business to bring out these amazing patches every 2 weeks on a regular cycle every 2 weeks is fucking ridiculous for the most game companies. That we have to have a chance to show off the new content and make money to be able to continue to work for it. So. That's basically the reason the patch notes are there. The skin section, sometimes it runs longer, and that's generally not because we want it. Well, it is because of Pond, generally. It's also because we like to film these live, because we used to do pre-recorded versions for a little while, if you remember those, which everyone caught on to. They were pre-recorded. But a lot of people like the live atmosphere. But with live atmosphere becomes live risks, because obviously we're showing all these skins and things on a development stage, which means that we do have issues with errors and things. Like today, for example, it took a little bit longer to get in game. Plus, we do like to showcase all the effects and extras that we put in, just to show that the one thing we always try to do is improve the content going forward as much as possible. We try and make the skins better more and more as time goes on, and to do that we like to showcase it in a little bit more detail than we generally used to, just to really show off the extra effort that goes into these into these skins that get made. I read cast in China, got confused, I'm sorry.
No, it's all good.
But yeah, that's the reason skins take so long, honestly, and at the same time some of it is a bit of to and fro.
You guys do a lot of work though. Like I mean, I do. Like while I was complaining about how long it might take during the time frame, I was like, oh, that skin is pretty badass though, or whatever the case is. Except for the Kuzenbo grill. Why did we give him just gold?
I no clue.
I do gotta harp on that as well. The card art looks so good for Kuzenbo, and then you get in game, and it's like, the hell is this? Like the grill. I mean, it looks so good, and then once you get in game, with how like shiny it is, it's just like, oh, this doesn't work at all.
I'm guessing that normally what happens with the golden skins and stuff like that is if the community does have anything egregious about it and it's in a joint voice, Harris are always willing to change them. We've done it multiple times before. I suspect if that's the case with Kuzenbo, which I can see everyone's point of view on it, that they'll probably just dull it down a little bit so it doesn't look as grilly, at least not as shining and blinding. But then again, as a Kuzenbo player, I think that is an actual bonus by having those skins.
Because you're scaring the other player, because they get to see, you only see his back.
You're annoying. They have to see his face, but you're also annoying them. Get that shiny shit out of my face. Jesus, I can't see, it's blinding me, right? So they're going to then hit you to try and get rid of you. And then they're going to die by hitting you. And it's a win-win.
The science is there.
Secretly buffed Kuzenbo without anybody realizing.
Secretly buffed? He was blatantly buffed. There's no secret at all here.
No, blatant buffs and then secret hidden buffs that weren't mentioned.
I see.
Like the new skin.
It's a conspiracy. It goes straight to the top.
Speaking of conspiracy with skins, Haven Zeus. Man, that skin, I didn't even know it was in an ultimate. Like I think Gore Miser's been the same way. I didn't even know I was getting hit by things.
I can't remember which chat. I can't remember if it was in the Challenger Cup chat or in the Eager Production chat. I was blowing it out because one night I was playing and I got destroyed by a Zeus like 5 times in a row. And like part of it after a while, I was just like, all right, maybe I'm just not paying enough attention. But I could not tell a single time I was in that ultimate.
Oh, it's the first time I've heard that personally. Huh.
He's got that OP Zeus rave. He's like, but when that 2's out there, that shield, because it just makes DJ sound. It's crazy.
All right, so I guess we're gonna talk about skins. We talked about the Kuzenbo. Bologna gets another skin. for reasons. Loki gets another skin for reasons. That NRG Chrono skin though, very sexy.
That's pretty sick. That was really nice. That NRG skin looks cool.
The voice pack is I both love and hate that voice pack. I think that's the perfect balance for any of these voice packs with Tina. Is as long as if you have that love hate, she did a good job.
Yeah. Shout out to Tina and her voice packs. Yeah.
We had the little goth Morrigan, which was interesting. That was a voice pack that left an impression. I don't know what kind of impression.
It almost feels like you're being candid for no reason because I'm on the show or something. Like, don't do that. That's just weird. Don't be false. Just say what you were going to say. It's okay.
Nah, I don't know. I don't know. The Morgan skin, I like, kind of like, it's weird that we had the two raving skins like right in a row, but I kind of get that because like things that come in the pipeline, you work on this and then you work on something else. It just felt like a weird, like the goth rave. Like that was just a weird, like, I don't know. That's a weird combination because she's like, yeah, like totally. But then she's dressed like this, cyberpunk goth rave.
It gave me some serious Raven from Teen Titans vibes.
Yeah.
Which, like, now that I've said that out loud, it seemed like a lot better of an analogy in my head. Like, it made a lot of sense, like, to me. But it's just one of those, like, if you've seen that, like, it kind of has, like, the same personality kind of thing going on for it.
Yeah, the Morgan one for me, I mean, it's just another skin. In my eyes, like, some skins I love, some skins I think are okay, some things I think, it's terrible. Yeah. And generally, I'll kind of get you normally hear most of my opinion on the patch notes.
Yeah.
In terms of them. Like, if I go a little bit quieter, you generally get a feeling that I'm not really interested.
You give those looks on camera, like there's the Hindu look that yeah.
So I guess one thing we can bring up is like and we kind of we talked about this while we were watching it. We talked about it when Polar Bear Mike came in. Behind the scenes, I guess. I don't know if that was in the interview or not, but Polar Bear Mike kind of tweeted out was like, the Smite skins are kind of getting a little too like kawaii whatever, kind of super cute whatever, and it just really feels out of touch. And I started thinking about it. I was like, yeah, kinda. I mean, I absolutely hated the Scotty Doge skin. That was so bad.
Me too.
Yeah, and then the the Kawaii Amaterasu, like okay, but and then this new Morrigan skin, and I want to hate the Chibi Kukulkan, but I can't. Like I just can't bring myself to do it.
Yeah. I can.
Here's the thing, right? Mm-hmm. In video games, we've got so many different players. There's millions of players who play this game, and with that many people playing it, everyone has different tastes. It's the same way you go to a clothes store and there's a lot of different selections of clothes. Mm-hmm. Some stores may specialize in one thing, some stores are not. We're basically Walmart, right? So we try to have more variation for cheap prices.
All right, yeah.
Watch Stu listening to this now and go, I'm going to coin that phrase. We're basically Walmart with cheap prices. Basically free prices, but the skins cost a little bit extra. But we do try and give variation to like the sort of designs of skins and stuff. I know they try and do that in the deep run. Whether it always comes across the community or not is a different story. But I can give you an example this patch of one hand, you're like, man, this is too cutesy and artsy and fartsy and too nice. And then you get Creepy Doll.
Yeah,
Creepy Doll is it not like Creepy Doll is?
That's perfect. That's perfect. Right on the money. I feel like that's a perfect skin for Izanami, and I feel like that addresses. So a lot of people had criticisms on the Izanami model for being like too sexy, too
not dark enough. I think the word you'd put like not deep and dangerous and nasty enough.
Right. Yeah, and I feel like this addressed that, and it's like, okay, well, here we're gonna play into those kind of like those more dark elements and really make it creepy. The kind of like with the Plague Doctor, I feel like that's like a great direction that we've seen with Izanami go. Yeah.
But I know there's always kind of a balance to it, and yes, sometimes you'll see a couple of patches in a row that may feel like it's more light-hearted and maybe out of touch a little bit more. But then you also get patches where we do have a lot of dreary, nasty-looking stuff as well. Examples of that, like Full Metal Vulcan, for example, the patch before that was more of a darker skin than the like Scardy that was also in the same patch. Like they do try and balance that out, but the thing that you're drawing your attention to is the ones that you think are a little bit out of focus in your opinions,
Yeah,
and
that's
the ones
very
that you're
true.
looking at differently. There'll be people
One
who look at the
unicorn.
Kawhi skins and go, "Oh my god, Kawhi, so cool," and then look at the Vulcan one and go, "Ooh, I don't want to play a really tough looking man. I want to play a cutesy little dog and a little girl and pew pew." Yeah, same sort of thing, right?
Yeah.
Everyone has selections and choices, so you know that's the way the art will always be. I'm pretty sure trying to balance the over the top with the dirty, grimy, and then the in betweens as well, which fall in different places.
So I guess somebody was asking what's going on with the. I know obviously Eager won Xbox, so we're supposed to get a Ratatasker skin. And somebody was wondering what's going on with that. If there's any ETA, I don't know if you know
With the
what's going on with the Ratatasker skin for Eager. That
The Eager Xbox champs. Yeah.
Eager Xbox.
Oh,
So
I do not have any knowledge of that right now.
all right. So
If I
Swartz,
knew something,
that's
I
your
would,
answer.
just to let you know, if I knew, I would tell you something. If I knew about, there was conversations about it, stuff, but I've not heard any of those personally. Like I'm on the casting side, not on the design side for 95% of the time. So yeah, take that with a pinch of salt. I don't know, unfortunately.
Okay.
All right. Well, there you go. That's your answer. Well,
right,
hopefully
so-
we get that Ratatasker.
So I think we spent more than enough time on skins and things.
No, it's like patch notes now. See,
Yeah,
Frank's gonna
never-
find
yeah.
the fuck out how
My
this
favorite
goes
part
on.
of patch notes.
You
My
start one
favorite
thing
part
about skins, you're there for fucking 45 minutes. And you're like, just get me through items because I want to get off air.
Oh God. All right. Well, then I'll go back. I'll go back to the skins.
No,
The Bologna skin. Was there like a licensing issue why you just couldn't call it, high res Amanda Bologna?
I mean, is it Amanda? You guys see a different version of Amanda than I do. And that's not to say that, when I say that, it doesn't mean I think she's dead ugly or something, because everyone goes, "Oh, she's so pretty and she looks so much like this." And I'm like, I don't see it that
I mean, the hair is the same length and
Yeah, I
style, and
guess.
then she kind of
I
does
guess.
have that Bologna cosplay thing, and
That one's been sat around for a while, that skin, before they finally released it. So I've seen that for a little while longer.
Yeah.
And I'm pretty sure maybe it was designed Amanda. Maybe it is Amanda, but I've never seen Amanda wear cut-off shorts like that before, or a top that tight.
Okay.
So
Fair
yeah,
enough.
that's pretty much. I don't see it. That's the only
All right,
reason.
all right.
But yeah.
Okay,
Maybe
so
maybe
Okay, so we were initially going to have Fine OK on tonight to talk about the Challenger Circuit and the Combine, but we're going to have the next best thing. We're going to have this, Scrub Hindu on to talk about things.
Yeah.
How have you been viewing the Challenger Circuit? I know you hate the casters who run it. You guys have no skill over there.
They're terrible.
Yeah, terrible.
I don't know what we
But
do.
as like Smite evolves in the esports scene, do you feel like the Challenger Circuit and the Combine are like, big steps for Smite as a whole? Or do you think there are things that you would change about them? Like, what are your thoughts on how things have been set up?
Word, yeah. I mean, these changes that happened this year, like I do work in the esports department. I knew they did want to make strides to make it more of a competitive thing with a bit more organization to it. Because the one thing you experience with the Challenger Cup that we used to have, which would go on for about the same, it would always try and go on at the same time as the Pro League. Now, the problem with that is that weekly cups, when you get to a certain amount of points after week 3, you can sit there and go, "Hey guys, we can just do nothing now for the rest of the 3 weeks and still be in the top 3." And we don't like that idea. And as casters, I know these guys because I did the grind those two are doing right now who are with us. Like I have done that grind, and I did that grind for over a year straight of constant broadcasts of shit. There's nothing worse than the first 3 weeks of your competition having 64 games to possibly cast, as in 60, round of 64 was amazing because there was a lot of options. But then as the weeks wear on and time goes on, you get down to 4 teams and 2 groups of friends that got drunk, ended up staying at each other's house and went, "Should we just queue up for this for a laugh?" That's what you end up with in the later weeks. So the way the circuit has been designed this year, it feels more like, okay, so we've taken the cream of the crop, those top 4 teams that would have qualified after like 4 weeks of playing the Challenger Cup anyway, and put them in a league of their own, which is then like a filter. It's almost like I don't even know what the American versions of this would be, but in soccer in England, football as I'd call it, in football there's a Premier League, which is the top division, and then there's a league below that called Division 1 or League 1. And so you are in that league there where you are looking to get yourself into the Pro League, so you're building up the quality to actually get there and maybe get a spot through relegation.
So for I'll explain a little bit for our American viewers here. So what Hindu's trying to say, so like Premier League soccer, you've got, I'll put it into football terms, because football, America. You have your NFL. You have all the teams they play. They have their season, and then the final the bottom 3 teams? Is that how it works? Yeah, the bottom 3 teams get kicked out of the NFL, and the top 3 teams of the league below that. So it'd be like the D League, the developmental league. They would get the spots in the NFL then. But it goes down much further than that. I think there's like 37
like
different
baseball.
leagues. And
There's,
like,
there's a lot.
yeah.
There's a lot of leagues in there.
You could start, at that 37th league, and then one day, very unlikely, but you could end up in the Premier League. And so that's it's a very different concept for American sports, but it's the norm for soccer and around the world. All right, so sorry to cut you off.
No, you're fine. You're fine. But was someone going to say something?
Gore?
I was gonna say with that, I mean, there's a really good example, like, because the way you were saying, like, you find yourself kind of fighting up out of nowhere, and then you can find yourself having a shot at the top. I mean, right now, like, there's a team, like the team with the most points in North America right now for the Challengers Cup or Challenger Circuit is the one team I thought was going to get knocked out like the minute that they got the chance to go through, and they're sitting up there looking stronger than some of the SPL teams have so far.
Mm-hmm. And the one thing about this, so the setup of the leagues now is with the Combine, this is a place for you to really hone your skills to try and get yourself into the Pro League and work as a team, as a unit, and be the best you can by playing the same 4 teams week in, week out, because that's what you do in the Pro League. You play the same teams over and over again, and you get the opportunity to get better as a team, realize your weaknesses, and also work out the weaknesses of other teams so you can exploit that. And that prepares you a lot better for taking on the SPL teams than relegations at the end of a season when you've never seen them before, if that makes sense.
Now,
you just get thrown into a different sort of environment because the environments are different.
Yeah, I think one of the biggest things of like having the Combine and then now the Challenger Circuit is providing teams and players consistent scrims, like getting them, people to play against to get better that are on their level. But a question I have is like, do you think that this relegation process is like the right direction to go for esports in general, and then Smite as a whole right now? Because I mean, admittedly, Smite is smaller than the other MOBAs kind of right now, and so we have teams right now that don't have sponsors. And then is it harder to try to get a sponsor, an organization to come in and pick up a team when you have that relegation aspect where they could, have one bad split and all of a sudden they're not going to be on the main stage anymore?
I get you. I can see that opinion. And that's kind of comes down to with sponsorships, it's technically a subject down to the players more than anything else. Because Hi-Rez themselves don't have too much of a say in that. We don't really get involved between the players and the sponsors unless we have to in certain situations that generally come to the forefront with the community, which we always are public about when we do that. But what generally seems to happen is the players organize with the sponsors how long their contracts are and what kind of income they're getting from that, or what sort of sponsorship deal they're actually going to get from the company. And Hi-Rez stays away from that. But the sponsors go into that knowing the risks. They know there's a chance of relegations. They know there are a chance that they may not be in the big screen. They all agree to that coming on board because there is always a risk factor with sponsorship. That's what sponsorship is. You're there to promote a product or a company for somebody by doing a service. Your service is play. And if there's bonuses, then you factor in the bonuses as well. The big difference is that in the Combine, and the fact that relegations exist, I will go to that point that you mentioned earlier on as well, was with relegations, I think it's very, very important that relegations happen because otherwise the scene will get stale as a whole. Like, players will have this mentality of like, well, we're bottom of the SPL, but we're still going to keep getting paid free cash each week because no one's going to kick us out, and we're not going to kick anyone from the team because we're all good friends, right? So let's just take this free money each week and never improve. That's one thing that could happen. Yeah. Another thing that could happen is that boys club happens, and the one thing that Smite had at the first years, and that's kind of what happens, is the boys club mentality, where you were here from the beginning, so we'll give you a shot over somebody else, or I want to keep them on the team instead of seeing new talent in the league. This gives a chance for new talent to come through, fresh talent, and we're seeing this more and more as the Pro League grows, that we get more and more talent every single split of new players factoring in, at least per year. We see a lot of them coming in and out and get a lot stronger in terms of different options they've got for them. But it does improve things overall. I definitely think relegations needs to happen because the overall idea is you have the best players in the region in the SPL at all times, if you can. And anyone just in the side of that should be in the Combine looking to go back up again anyway.
I think you guys have done a great. I think it's a good road, though. I think that's really the biggest aspect is the past couple seasons, there really hasn't been, a true identity. Now you've got the Combine, then you got a circuit, and then that leads to the SPL. there is that defined path of where to go, and obviously chat's having the discussions, whether it's D-League comparisons or whatever. Pretty much you have those obstacles to get past. You got to get through the combine to get to the challenger circuit. Then the challenger circuit will lead you to the SPL eventually, and so on and so forth. And that's how you do get better, and the growth is there. But yeah,
I know, me personally, working with EGF, they're the way that they look at it is really different from, say what AVGL does, where AVGL does kind of like the tournament style, and then EGF does more of like like the SPL itself, where they do set up a league and everything. And I was talking to like the CEO at one point, and he was like, I don't know about relegations. I think his point was, bringing in sponsors being more attractive that way, and I understood that. But then you kind of have to have like the minor league system, the farm club system, and I don't know, maybe you have like the locked in rosters where owners can come and go and sponsors can come in and out like that. But then you have like the combine, and then you have the the challenger circuit where players can come up and they can have the rise, and then they can get scouted that way. People can see, all right, well this Shaka guy, he's pretty good on this Jonas. Maybe we kind of give him a look, maybe see if he can if he has a god pool or anything like that, and have it that way, and then they can be that's how you bring in the new life. But again, like you said, that kind of brings in some of like the boys club mentality, or buying your way to victory, or whatever and what have you that way.
Well, I mean, let's go like obviously with kind of the challenger. How have you seen any like great rookies lately, Hindu, that you think are gonna that are making the impressions? Like what's going on, and as far as any like the young blood that's made an impression on you?
We took rookies in challenger, or are we talking rookies in SPL?
Well, obviously the rookies came from the challenger scene, so
that's true.
Like the ones that came over there, which ones are we looking at?
Well, the ones that have just come up.
Yeah,
I think this is two questions. I think the first question is challenger circuit, and then the second one is in the SPL.
Okay, because SPL is a little easier for sure. Rookies in the challenger. I'm going to real quick scan because I was looking through them now, and like some of these names I've seen. I casted most of some of these kids actually all the way back in season 1, like the early days of season 1. So I recognize a lot of the names from some of these kids, and some of them were on in between teams. Is the funniest thing to say. Like they were really low down for a long time, where you like they finished like in the quarters or something like that with a bunch of friends or a few other guys, and then they'd never really get any more than that. But now I can see some of them like starting to climb up a little bit more. Let me see who's in EU. Rebound has always been pretty interesting to me. On EU, is it Thial? I think.
Thigh that's what I've been calling them. Yeah.
I wasn't sure what it was. I'm like, okay, it's that one. Obviously, Deserted in the EU's also got a pretty good team there as well. But most of them have been around the scene for quite a while. I've been noticed in some of the big boy games. Surprised Gorgonzola didn't get a full start. He's probably one of the next ones to be recruited back to the Pro League, I expect, over in Europe. Like he's going to be a big name to watch out for. I think he'll have a lot of good times in the Pro League as well. It'll take him some time, but I think he's good. And then in NA, it's Quignitas, right?
Quignitas and Gatekeepers. Gatekeepers is Kiki's team. Yeah. And Quignitas is with Quig. See, Quig is a name that was new to me as a player. I don't know if his name changed or not, but Quig is the mid laner. Benny Q is the ADC for that squad, and they've advanced. But Quig was a name that I am not familiar with, so I didn't know where he really came from. All of a sudden, he just showed up. So I'm thinking it's a name change, but not sure.
Yeah, I'm still trying to learn most of the NA name changes because sometimes I know them. Obviously, Astral Authority over in NA is freaking crazy. Like those guys were on the cusp of entering SPL in my eyes. I think they're actually a really solid team as a whole. But there's a lot of players on there who would be like either entering their first rookie year or coming back after a very short stint in the Pro League. I think Famous Hate was there for a week or two or something, or subbed in for some people. I think the same with Fine OK, but that team actually on paper has a lot of different people that could be pretty good.
Yeah.
And make it on the way up. Like NA, I think NA's got a little bit more right this second in terms of possibilities of rookies coming up. I think EU's got a few more of like past names that could come back again.
It makes sense. Yeah.
And I know with NA, like especially like this split, for anyone who hasn't been watching or anything like that, I mean, we have had like pretty much only splits except for one match. There was one match that went 2-0 for Quignitas over Astral Authority. That's the only time that anyone is 2-0 so far in 3 weeks. And
yeah,
I mean, like they have been at the top of their game. Like they will have one game where like it's not even like a stomp. It'll be like 20-30 minutes of them dead even. One team finally wins a fight at the Portal Demon, that changes the rest of it.
Yeah, that's true. Oh, I guess I just saw somebody in chat mention Arizes, and I guess I could class him as a pro rookie because I did I do pro play rookies? I guess I didn't. Or did
Well,
I?
I mean, so that like at one
I
point
just went through all this Challenger Cup ones.
there was like the talk where like Arizes like he was Russian Poppy, but no, he's not Russian Poppy. Like I don't know where that eventually got settled. If yes, in fact, he is Russian Poppy.
I'm pretty sure it's Russian Poppy.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure it is. But like for what he showed off the past week or two, he's not been what he did show off before he disappeared into oblivion again. I guess is the best way of putting it. I thought he was really quite solid, like a little bit better than I expected him to be. In all honesty, the team that I'm probably, if I talk about pro league players who've just come up this year and rookies, I'd probably say the biggest one for me is probably Mr. Stefan on Sanguine, who I think is he's going to take a long time to really grow just because of the team he's on, but he's got a lot of talent there.
Yeah, definitely agree.
Yeah,
definitely.
I've casted him last season on Challengers when I did EU. He's
him and
Vulcan, they do
Panther.
more. That's all.
Yeah, him and Death Panther have always been pretty solid. Death Panther is probably the most versatile guy that's just entered the pro league for a while. Since the last time I saw a player like him that reminded me of him, even though it's not on the same level right now, was Ninja Dimmy back in the day. Because Dimmy was the same sort of level where he could switch into different roles, but he never really joined the team. So Panther's got quite a bit to him as well. And then over in NA, let me think. I think it was Aussie's the only real one that I can think of at the top of my head that I think is really good. Now, the problem with Aussie and Sinoshaw are the biggest two because I knew El Chapo was going to be good this season, but they're both technically console players that have come across to PC.
Hindu, you got no love for Aquarius?
That's LA's just Boy right there. Aquarius.
It's too early, man.
It's too early. Did you see how he handled Scary D? Aquarius is rocking it this year. He started.
Listen.
He had that like one misstep game, and then he's been solid the whole time. He's gonna be the next Walrus.
How many people have soloed Dimmy before? How many people have soloed Zalia before? How many people have soloed Cyclone before? How many of those people do you still remember most of those names?
I've been soloed by Cyclone. I don't even.
Like when you get soloed by the biggest names in the solo lane, that's when you remember these players' names. Aquarius has solo people, yeah, but he's got to keep grinding it. It's still too early for me to go. He's had a really good rookie year right now, and some of that does come down to his not necessarily his opposition in lane and what he's doing wrong, but as the team performance can reflect on you a little bit negatively, but you can still shine on that team, and that's the big key because I think Xenotronics is really shining on them too.
Yeah, I think out of Flashpoint, Xeno and Aquarius have been the two bright spots. I mean, this last week they kind of got their act together and did what they needed to do, and like finally played to like the level that they should have been playing at initially. But
do you know what I look at Flashpoint as? And this is me candidly. It's not even. I've not been scared to say it before anyway. But the way I look at Flashpoint is kind of. I think I should put this in American terms. When you get a pitcher in baseball, watch me try and do baseball. That's going to be quality. You're like this. So when you've got pitchers who are old and getting above their times now, right? Instead of firing them and getting rid of them, you let them mold the new blood coming in. Yeah, you let them teach the new guys coming through, and that's kind of what Flashpoint is. Right, you've got Incon, you've got Shadow Q on here, and then you've got Mirage who's got like half a season done, but he's not really found his pitching arm properly, so the coach doesn't want to put him in yet. So he's still with this group. But then you've got Aquarius and Xenotronics. I guess it's Aquarius mainly. There's the newest guy in the roster, and Xenotronics and Mirage, like, second year students, and still trying to find their pitching arms. And Incon and Shadow are like, throw the ball like this, you're gonna throw it like this. And then eventually they're gonna throw the ball better, and then you're gonna fire Incon and Shadow Q.
So what you're saying is that Flashpoint is the minor league of the SPL.
I'm saying
they're gonna win the pennant, is what you're saying.
Yeah, this is Incon and Shadow Q showing younger generations of Smite players how to play in the pro league. That's kind of what it feels like to me. I think Shadow Q's just looking for a home mainly. I think that's the biggest thing with him is that he has a lot of knowledge as a player. His decision making can be suspect sometimes, which I know from Shadow Q's play, and he admits it fairly himself. That now and again he'll make some bad decisions, but his analysis of a game situation is fantastic. But he just doesn't seem to be able to find a team that can mesh with him right now. And then Incon's the same way. Incon focused a lot. In the grand scheme of things, Incon's been all over the place now, and now he finds himself on this team because I think he's just wanted a team. Like after being on ALG with Lassis and Mighty Pocket, I think when he first joined that team, that's what he wanted to be, was like the stream team or something like that. So he could just go with the flow of it. And I think that's what Incon's doing here as well. But he is able to teach the newer players as well to get them to get better.
I would ultimately love to see Incon. Like I you know, as a player, you know, he's great. He's, you know, he's been there for a while, but I think Incon at this point for me would do much better in a role that he had kind of had, you know, SWC at being like on that analyst or caster desk. Like him and Anatoly matchups on the caster desk were amazing, and they were probably part of my favorite things, like of that those segments. There's like he has that personality, he brings it in, and it just worked so well. But I don't know that he's ready to step back from being a player and kind of step into that role. And then
I don't think he needs to just yet as well. I think the key is that he's still good enough to play at a pro level. A lot of people don't think he's at a pro level now, and a lot of feedback he gets is that, you know, he's not good enough for the pro league now. But technically he isn't, because if he wasn't good enough, he wouldn't be on the fucking team. That's my view. It's like they kick him, right? And then the other aspects of this is look at where Incon came from a player. He was a very non-known player playing for, I'm pretty sure it was something like, what was Shing's team? He was on a team with Shing.
Snipe?
He's talking about Snipe?
Snipe, thank you.
Snipe?
He was on Snipe.
He still has that tag, so that's why I remember.
I'm
I
pretty
was
sure
looking
Incon...
up at my launch tournament poster and like, which team was he on?
That takes me back, because I wasn't even playing the game back then at the tournament. So I just started playing the game. That's why I'm like, how was he on there? I'm pretty sure he was on Snipe anyway, and he was known as Incontinentia. And back then, he didn't stream, he didn't know himself. But what he has done is grown as a player to the fact that he got in the Pro League games and won some tournaments at one point, a couple of points in time too. And then he's continued to advance his career instead of just focusing on the pro aspect of the entertainment aspect too, of creating a community for himself, which I think is good individual growth as a person that you can do as a pro player, because pro players' lives, as caster lives, all die eventually. You know, you're all going to go out to pasture at one point. And
saying I'm going to die?
You're going to get listen,
what?
Don't worry about it. It's okay. I got your back. Listen, I'll have a spare bullet, or we can put our heads together, pull the trigger at the same time. It'll be quick and painless.
Okay, all right. I'm with you. All right.
And the blood will just run into the field, and then you'll see Incon and Shadow Q, or actually not Incon and Aquarius and Xenotronics and Mirage go onto that pasture themselves to throw pitcher balls with a new talent coming.
Yeah.
There you go.
All right. So, you know, as season 4 has kind of gotten underway and we've gotten into the split, we've had a lot of changes. We've had, you know, NRG kind of got off to that really rocky start, and a lot of people kind of were saying that they weren't scrimming, they weren't playing together, they hadn't played together since since Worlds. They won it. Is that bullshit?
So the first one was that Energy?
Yeah, NRG. Yeah.
They said they've not been playing since Worlds?
Yeah, people were saying, I don't know where it came from. They were just like, oh, well, you know, that Energy's got off to the rough start because they didn't care. They didn't scrim since Worlds.
Energy always give a shit. Whether they'd like to admit it or not, you can't have adapting on that team. Like, you guys have seen adapting on his stream, right?
Yeah.
There's no way.
Yeah.
There's no way.
He gets angry.
There's no way adapting can go into a competitive game that earns him money and not get as upset or more upset than a ranked game that gives you pointless elo.
Yeah.
Like, it is a pointless elo, right? Like, what's the reason for it? There's no reason. It's a made up number. Now, if adapting can get that angry about that situation, I'm pretty sure that is not the case. It's going to be worse in SPL, if not the same.
All right. So as a caster, what has been the problem for Energy on this start? Is it just because EU has been stacked and they've played against, you know, some of the best? I mean, they did.
I will say they've probably not scrimmed as hard as they would. I'm not going to say they haven't been scrimming, because I don't know if they have been scrimming or not. But I do know, like, scrim wise, they probably have taken a bit of a siesta to it, because the burnout after a long push over Christmas and New Year probably is you need a little bit of time away from the game, otherwise you'll burn out on it, and that's a terrible thing to happen to them. Yeah. So if they have taken some breaks from scrims and taken vacations, which is what happened to Yamin and I think Dimmy was about recently, just on adventures, you can see on his Twitter. So they have taken a bit more time for themselves to recoup and enjoy what they've done, you know, competing 2 years in a row, world championships back to back. And if they have a bit of a dip in performance season 1, that's, you know, in season 4 at the start, is it that much of a bad thing? Like, let them enjoy the time while they're still young and not get old. I'm glad they kind of did it in a weird way, if that is the case. If it's not, it is also down to the fact that people are either ahead of them now in terms of picks and bans and understanding the map more, which is another effect that we can't truly tell until we look at summer. For me, like, if summer and fall start continue going this trend where Energy is mid-table or really struggling, then it looks like the beast has been caught, you know.
Yeah, I mean, right now it
Go
kind
ahead,
of
Gore.
seems like they really just kind of hit a spot where they haven't truly and this goes along with what you said with practicing, where they haven't truly adapted into season 4. Like they haven't fully put themselves, like put their hearts into learning everything that is right now. And especially with the way things are, I mean, there's so many starts for them to like kind of go to. I know, like, I think it was adapting was absolutely against mid laners having Bumba's mask, and every single matchup they had that week, Yaman falling behind like the entire time. And it just kind of felt like they didn't really want to go forward into season 4 the way everyone else was.
Yeah, and I think that was the key. Is it probably just sat back, see what everyone else is doing, and this is kind of what makes energy too. My wife describes it the best when she's watched energy play. She's turned around and said they're like a dog with a new toy, right? Because they'll play with it a little bit, and then they'll play with it a little bit more, and then after a little while, they'll work out exactly how to rip its fucking head off and pull everything out from inside.
Yeah.
Now, I am paraphrasing that. That wasn't exactly what she said. She wouldn't swear.
Yeah,
She's a
yeah.
lot politer than me. But she has the right mentality, because that's exactly what energy do. Like, they kind of do pick teams apart by slowly working them out and then ripping the head off. So I'm expecting they probably will do the same coming to spring to summer, fall time. Maybe the last couple of push already. We'll find out. Like, I'm expecting it'll be summer before we start to see them shine again. You can't count them out. 2-time world champions having a bad start to the year.
Yeah.
It's not all doom and gloom, you know.
And at
That's
this point,
kinda
I
what-
mean, yeah, it's just another couple of losses, really. Like, I mean, and that's really kind of like what you said. Like, they're a studious team, and honestly, like, I think we had Emilzy say this as well, and I had mentioned it at one point in one of my videos, where it's just there is no team I've seen and that hates losing more than NRG. Really, like, they all hate it and take it kind of like to the heart, but NRG have like this burning passion. Like, it just fuels them if they lose.
You can see it on Adapted shows on his face every single time. Like, Will showed you how passionate he was to win that, and that passion showed through to the audience, and it also showed through in his gameplay, which is the dream. You know, if you can get your passion to show in that many different variations to that many different people, you know you're doing shit right, and that's why his class is one of the best players in the world.
Oh yeah, I was just gonna go on the fact that, like you said, I was just gonna leech on the fact that it's the beginning of the year still. It's just spring. There's plenty of time. HRX is still months away. Regardless, I don't foresee energy not being at HRX for an attempt at Worlds, regardless of whatever the record says. And once they get on land, they're like most teams, they become a little bit different beasts, and they should have their shit together realistically. So I feel like if you're going to struggle, and I've said this on our interviews, struggle early, get your shit together late, have a great late run, and let's go for it.
Very true, very true. And it's the right time to do it. Like, that's the main thing, is like, if you're going to have issues, have them now and not coming into the fall split. Like, don't do it over someone coming to fall and be like, well, they just lost 2 splits in a row, and let's be honest, they didn't look great, so maybe energy's dead. I don't think that'd be the case, though. I still think they're a top team. But I also think as well that the other players in the league, someone said this in chat, and they've got a kind of a point with this, that the other teams in the league have stepped up a little bit, but is it at the same level as energy has done as well? Probably not. And everyone's still playing catch up to energy. So I think they've basically shown now that if energy haven't been working as hard this split, and maybe they have, and this is just us fairy crafting here, but I think they haven't. But if they have been working as hard as everybody else to get this meta down and learn and get better, then this shows that these teams have got to a level now that they compete against them, which means they're beating them in picks and bans a little bit more. The positioning on season 4 map is a lot better than energy's, but the difference is that energy will learn. They will learn and they will adapt.
They have the adapt king.
And they adapt, they will be on your level again. But then it comes down to individual mechanical play, which is another level that, they can bring to you. Or they can bring up more stuff of their own because they've not actually practiced enough.
Right. So we talked about, kind of the top here. And I know it's early. We're just getting, we've got like another week or so before we start heading into like the land. But who do you think are like the dark horses, like teams to watch that really stand to gain the most and really advance this year? Your dark horses for both NA and EU.
I'm just gonna look through the teams real quick, and then my website crashed. Shout out to the esports website. Yeah. Let me think. I think dark horses. I think Memory of Gabe isn't a dark horse.
Yeah.
I think they're a horses in the race. They're a decent chance. They're not odds-on favorite or anything like that, but they're in a very comfortable position that you could see them winning. I'd say Noble is probably the most dangerous surprising factor out of everyone.
Yeah.
But I know a lot of people are going to underestimate E United coming into the LAN too. E United have got a lot of LAN experience under their belts as a team. And it should be business as usual for them going forward. I think they've got a lot of things to strive on this year, but I think EU United is probably the darkest of horses just because everyone's seen them at the top and everyone's seen them at the bottom, and they recently just finished in the bottom, and now everyone's going to forget that they were once recently on the top. So that's North America. And then Europe, I'm probably looking at Elevate, honestly.
Yeah, I mean, after that NRG game, I think that, I mean, as far as like that sold me on Elevate. I was like, all right, I think Elevate has really elevated their play.
Hey.
All right, man. You've done adapting and now Elevate. All right, look, that's two. I don't know how many more I can take.
Yeah, so Elevate was really come to play, and then when Nulissa came, they looked even better. I feel like that's a team definitely to watch. And I feel like as far as NA goes, Noble, Wowie, and Wubbin and MLC, as we talked about before, Incon being the guy who teaches the new breed, the way to go. I feel like MLC, if everything can, stay kosher, like if he doesn't kind of get into the things that have really alienated him from the top teams he's been on, I feel like that's a team that can really do some work.
I think it will as well. I think Noble's definitely one of the dark horses there. I already mentioned Ozzy is like one of the probably rookie players, even though he's played in console before, but entering the Pro League, he looks great on that team. Well, that team as a whole has just come on leaps and bounds. More surprising than not. I expected it was going to take them at least the first split to really adapt to each other, but they've started to do that a little bit quicker than people probably expected, which means that by the end of this split, starting next split, we'll see the full potential of this team, or at least a lot further potential of where this limits of this team go to,
Yeah. All right, so we're getting down to the final minutes of the show. I feel like I wouldn't be doing my job if I didn't give you a chance to plug the caster, which just got announced today. Why don't you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, go figure. I knew we were going to be doing this, but I didn't know when the official release was until 2 minutes before patch notes, and they came about 5 minutes before patch notes. And I went, "Oh, by the way, you're announcing this on the show today." I'm like, "I am? What am I supposed to be announcing?" Because I've not seen anything of it yet so far, at least with the other things coming through. So basically, it's the caster. So if you remember, So You Think You Can Cast, a wonderful member of this group staring at you in the face, the bottom right hand corner of your screen if you don't recognize it, managed to go on the show last year. So You Think You Can Cast, not last year, the year before I should say. So You Think You Can Cast, and made it to the finals, which got him a trip toward Worlds as well, where we brought him out. This year we're looking to do a similar sort of thing, a little bit different. This year is going to be called the Caster, and it's more open to any casters, not just MOBA related specifically. We're looking for talent. We're interested in you guys are playing. It's going to be a different bit of a show this year. Obviously, it's a reality show, so there'll be reality elements to it, as you'd expect with any show. But there is a big cash prize for this year, $10,000. I also believe there's a trip to Worlds or something. I've not read the whole terms and conditions of what we're including in it to make sure. So I could tell you 100%, but get your applications in if you're interested.
I'm just going to say, if there had been a $10,000 prize last time,
you would have
probably no, Fats would have been pushing way harder than anybody else. Let's be real.
Listen, I'm just saying, if there was a $10,000 prize last year, I would have quit and done it myself. Okay.
All right. Hey.
Like even this year, I'm tempted to go to Stu and be like, "Hey, Stu, listen, bit of a family emergency's come up, and I need to quit the job for the next, half a year, okay, and then I'll come back. Yeah, how's that sound?" But then when I work about it, I'm probably losing money by doing that anyway. So it doesn't really work out in the grand scheme of things for how long this will take. But at the same time, it'll be nice. It'd be too nice. So yeah, if you are a caster out there and you are interested in doing this, please send your submissions in. You'll never know. You never know whether you'll get selected or not. It is for 18 years and older. Currently, it's for North American residents only, I believe, or citizens or whatever it says in the documentation. I should read that before I say, just to clear it up.
I know. I did see a tweet from Hi-Rez Stu that they're trying to open this up to people outside of the U.S.
Okay, well, that's cool and all, but I want my chance. So
if that does happen, then make sure you get your applications in. And the moment it's only to NA, but Stu has been tweeting about it, and when we get word on that, Stu will straight away release that information too. So sign up, get your shit in, and I'll be one of the ones taking through it and sifting through the Discord pile. So yeah.
All right. So I think that's, I mean, just about it. We got 4 minutes left of the show. Is there anything we didn't talk about that you want to talk about, Hindu? Is there any, shout outs you want to get? Like right now, the stage is kind of yours to do with whatever you wish.
Wow. Someone giving me a stage?
Yeah, I know.
I never get one of these. Ever. No, realistically, shout outs to you three for actually doing some Smite related content. There's not enough of it in the scene, and to see other people in the community doing this is fantastic. So I'm pleased to be here. It's my pleasure to be on your show, and hopefully it promotes you a little bit more and you get some more views, because it's interesting to be on. It's more talk about Smite is all good talk,
Yeah.
We all get more work because of it, and you guys at home get more things to listen to and talk about yourselves.
Well, we really appreciate you coming by, Hindu. Absolutely. And, we will definitely, hopefully grow this show to where it needs to be and keep it going. It's going to be interesting if we do get selected and we're all down there on the 15th, on that time frame. We'll see what the deal is. But
if that happens, then we have to do like a live recording version of Retake then, right?
Well, hey, guys, my stuff isn't public yet. They don't know what you're talking about.
I do.
They know.
It's fine.
Yeah,
it's
fine. No one cares.
He's staying at my house.
All right.
He's coming to visit me and my dog. That's all that's happening.
All right. I haven't actually checked with Hi-Res about this, but I'm just gonna just say it. So what they're referring to?
Oh, don't do that! Don't do that. That's risky. That's risky.
Don't do anything.
I am not taking responsibility for that. If you go down that path on your own, you're on that one on your own.
Hindu's here to be. Papa Hindu here said it was fine. He said it was okay. Everyone heard him. All right. Yeah, I can't tell you guys yet. Maybe there'll be something down the road in the future that I can really tell you guys. But yeah, good things are happening. So again, thank you to Hinduman for coming on, especially the short notice. We literally got him about 30 minutes to an hour before the show went live. So a huge thanks for coming and saving our asses. Thank you to Freight Train for those insightful comments about everything. Gore, the actual insightful comments about everything. And thank you everybody
I can see the favoritism on this show. There's some favoritism here.
So thank you everybody for coming out. Don't forget to follow if you liked what you saw. There's also in below, we have all of the links to our Twitter, the official EGF Twitter, mine. You can see on screen all of our Twitter handles if you like us. I mean, you're already probably following Hinduman, but you give us a follow as well. And we will see you guys next week the same time, Wednesday at 7:30. Bye.